Back, Prips throw around,
Look at that.
Prips spike. AFC North, the hardest strength of schedule. You see substantially different rosters. You have Derrick Henry now,
Right.
playing the bruiser role over with Baltimore and the Ravens. You now have Russ cooking over in Pittsburgh. He's cooking up some steel, and maybe Justin Fields will see the field at some point this year as well.
Right.
But who's your take on this? I mean, this division could not be a better division. It's probably more up in the air than any other division.
Yeah.
Baltimore winning it last year. The Browns, I don't think ever since the realignment have ever won the division, and they have the hardest strength of schedule this year.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it is a bloodbath. You're right, Dirk. I mean, so look, Baltimore came out and laid an egg in the AFC Championship game last year. Did not play a good game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Had they played a cleaner game, it's possible they would have won the Super Bowl last year. So the Ravens, adding Derrick Henry, obviously had some departures, but they're still a very good football team. However, I think Pittsburgh is going to be very scary, Dirk. This team got to the playoffs with Mason Rudolph at quarterback. And I know everyone loved to dig on Russell Wilson, and he has his limitations at this point in his career, but all he needs to do is be an efficient game manager. And if the Steelers have a healthy TJ Watt and a healthy defense, they're a Super Bowl contender. That's not even a stretch. They could be a Super Bowl contender right there. Then you move over to your Cleveland Browns, who also really had a shot this past year. It came undone in a very ugly fashion.
If you're going to say the same thing about the Pittsburgh Steelers,
Yeah.
you got to say Falco and the replacements went all the way to the playoffs.
They managed to get to the playoffs with Joe Flacco, which indicates to me they have talent on this roster. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen with Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson is still Deshaun Watson. Who knows? But if the stars align, Cleveland is a very, very tough team with a very good defense. And then, of course, the great wild card is the returning Joe Burrow. And I mean, Dirk, if he returns, he's a clear cut, in my opinion, the best, most seasoned quarterback as far as getting to the Super Bowl. I know that Jackson has gotten through the playoffs a couple times, but he hasn't been as good of a playoff performer as Burrow has.
Yeah, I mean, let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Here, okay. We're not doing projections yet, but if you're just looking at a roster going on the Cincinnati bunch, T. Higgins is probably not going to play all season. As it stands right now, he got franchised, and he's really upset about it. That takes one of their big assets out of that. Tyler Boyd's no longer with with Cincinnati anymore, so that leaves just, really one wide receiver in that core. You lost your running back, who was perpetually putting out great yards. I think Cincinnati's the biggest wild card. I frankly think that they are probably at the bottom of the division still a good team, but an 500 ball club, 8-9 is what I'm thinking. But then on the other side, I think the Browns you'll see probably be Browns-like, and they'll move on from just Deshaun Watson next year, probably taking a quarterback in the draft like the Browns like to do. And then you're going to see it be a slugfest between the Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens at the top. I'm going to say I really like. If you don't believe with anything else about the Steelers, you got to believe in Mike Tomlin, right? If he took Mason Rudolph in that roster last year to postseason,
Right.
He can do it with this roster. And even if you don't like Russell Wilson, Justin Fields is still, I think, he's passed over, and I think that he can come in and really shine in that system. And if anybody's going to make him a top talent in the NFL, it's going to be Mike Tomlin. So, final thought on this: I don't like the Derrick Henry pickup. I don't.
No.
I don't like it. Lamar Jackson apparently has lost 20 pounds in the offseason to get more agile. I'm not sure that's the direction that they needed them to go. I think that opens them up probably to more injury. And what are they going to do? Keep him in the pocket more? Or are they going to make him roll out? All of that doesn't really, unless you're doing a triple option system with an RPO, I don't love it very much, Mike. And that's probably a super unpopular pick. I get that, but I think the Steelers are going to come out on top in this division. It's hard to not pick them.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, Dirk. Though, I mean, Henry, the wild card is his age and health. Obviously, if he still has a good season left, it's going to be a great pickup.
And the Baltimore curse with running backs. I mean,
Well,
J.K.
yeah,
Dobbins, second play. Right? Here comes Derrick Henry.
Yeah, a lot of guys have gotten injured at that running back position. But I see the philosophical move. If Henry is healthy and has a decent season, he wears defenses out so much that it makes Jackson such a threat, especially late in games. So if Henry can punish the opposition as he did for years and years in Tennessee, it's scary trying to stop this team in the fourth quarter when you've got tired defenders and Lamar Jackson running around from the pocket. So I think it could go either way on that one, Dirk. It's all going to be contingent on whether or not Derrick Henry can be healthy. I think it comes down to the Ravens and Steelers as well. I probably like Baltimore still a little bit more than Pittsburgh, but we'll see. We'll see. I think that you're going to see an improved Russell Wilson.
All right.